Hi, I'm Gemma Kalala and welcome to TheRuby Tuesday. Today for our series called How to Become, I'm joined by Pete Vermeulen to talk about his job in operational research and revenue science. Hi Pete, welcome.
Thank you very much, thanks for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about what your job is and what you actually do?
Yeah, so my full job title is something I always forget. It's the Senior Revenue Science Analyst. And so basically I work for Carnival UK and I work in a subject called Operational Research and Revenue Management. So basically what operational research is, it's like a smaller section of maths, and it's an applied maths. So it's using mathematical models to try and solve people's problems. And so within that section of mathematics is also revenue science, which is basically solve people's problems which are due to money and stuff like that. So the problem usually ends up being, how can I make more money? And that's kind of usually where it comes out being.
Cool.
So that's what we're working currently.
Can you explain the path that you went on to get that job?
Yeah, sure. So my background mostly comes from studying. So I went to Brighton University to do a degree in mathematics, and then went on to do operational research at Southampton University. And then after that, I worked for the AA for a bit. So I worked in helping as an operational research analyst, trying to help out with their deployment. So working out the number of patrols they're going to need per area around the UK. So there's like big yellow vans which are going around, so how many of those do you need per hour of the day, per different day of the week. So I did a lot of work with that, and then after working for them for 6 months, I moved over to Carnival UK, which is a big cruise ship industry. So instead of counting cars, I'm now counting boats now. And I work there as a revenue science analyst. So I look at, we're basically building a big revenue management system at the moment, which takes all the information of historical cruises that we've sold, and then says, okay, what price did we sell at? How much demand did we get for those cruises? And then puts it into a big calculation to work out the price-demand relationships, and looks at future cruises and sort of says, well, this future cruise is kind of similar to these historical cruises. And so with that, we can kind of predict how this future cruise is going to sell and at what sort of demand it's going to sell at. And so if we can do that, we can say, hey, this is the exact price which we should sell at, and this is what the demand we should get.
So if someone else wanted to do a similar job to you, what route would you recommend they take to get there?
So to get into operational research, you really do have to do a course in it. So there's a lot of master's courses in there which really kind of expect you to do a mathematics degree first of all. So some really good universities, the university I went to, which was Southampton University, they do an excellent course on operational research. And Cardiff do another course as well, which is really good. So yeah, other than that, there isn't really much leg room to get into the subject of operational research. So yeah.
So what's the best bit about your job?
I think the best bit about working in operational research is that it's a very people's mathematics. So rather than people see mathematics as you sort of like a little gremlin hiding in a corner trying to solve problems and not dealing with anyone inside the business or any sort of other human interaction. Operational research is very much the opposite of that. It's very much talking to people and trying to turn real life information and what people are saying into mathematical problems, and then from there being able to solve it. And then people going, oh, it's brilliant! We can do all these things which we didn't think we'd be able to do just because somebody's actually worked it out for us mathematically. And so I think the best bit about it is that it is a people sort of style job, and so it's very rewarding when you solve people's problems, or it's very rewarding when you actually come back with something that's worthwhile. I think that's the best thing about the job.
So where do you think you're going to go next with your operational research?
So that's a really good question, because the thing about operational research is that it's everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, it's a subject which is so malleable because there's so many different industries that you can get into. I'm currently working in revenue science, and not just that, working in the travel industry. Previously I was working in breakdown industry, and before that I did a project working in healthcare. And I quite like the idea of working in operational research within healthcare, because I believe that's where people will see the most amount of benefit from my work. It's not just aimed on making corporations more money, it's aimed on helping people who need care, or make things more efficient, hopefully in the future save lives.
Can you think of a specific example of what that might look like within healthcare?
Sure. So I worked 2 summers back for the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin over in America for a couple of months, just doing like a summer project for them. And basically, what they wanted to know is, could you systematically predict how long a child's going to stay within the intensive care unit, given the information that you have when they come into the intensive care unit?
Yeah.
So, you have information like their age, how what their BMI score is, whether they had to have ultrasounds, or if they've got asthma, and you have all this so much information, like tables and tables full of information, and people take all this information but they don't necessarily know what to do with it. And so I had a great time going in and applying some mathematical models like CART algorithms and stuff to try and basically what a CART algorithm does is it works in segmentation. So what I was trying to do was look historically at how long patients were staying for. If it knows that a patient's going to be staying for a long time, then they can start setting up regular meetings with the family and make sure that the patient's happy with where they are and comfortable for the long stay as soon as they get there. So it's quite important to be able to predict that, really. And of course, intensive care units are very expensive to operate, and so if you can actively predict how long a patient's going to stay in there for, you can sort of start helping the family with financial plans to be able to pay for that, because it's it's all private healthcare, so that's very important. So there are some really good applications.
Awesome. Pete, thank you so much for talking to us about your job. I've just got a few quick fire questions for you before we go. Attack on Titan or Sword Art Online?
Attack on Titan.
Mario or Luigi?
Luigi. He's underrated. He's amazing. He solves that mansion, deals with all those ghosts. That's amazing. Mario doesn't do anything. He just jumps on things. It's rude.
But the mushrooms make him really massive.
I don't believe in taking drugs to solve your problems. That's not okay.
Thank you so much for joining us, Pete.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Let us know what you're thinking, if this is an area that you want to work in. Pete's joining us for another video where he's going to be playing his guitar and singing, and we will be linking that below, so don't forget to check that out. And he has a YouTube channel as well, which we'll also be linking, so please like and subscribe and stuff on his channel too, and we will see you in the next video. Bye!
Great.